just got done wrapping up my test on what I would consider a real-world high drain application of non-mainstream alkaline batteries. And everyone knows the mainstream batteries, you know, Duracell, Energizer, Rayovac, you know, blah blah blah. So I chose these batteries specifically because the manufacturers claim that they are high drain, long lasting batteries. I mean, example, lasts as long as the competition. You know, 10 year shelf life. You know, lasts as long as the competition. Same thing here, same thing here. Same thing with these cheaper Dollar Tree batteries. So basically I wanted to do a test that many others haven't really done, because the tests I've really seen are, you know, like low drain, like total capacity tests, which, I mean, it tells you the actual like real capacity of these, but it doesn't give you like a real world example of what would happen if the, you know, like will be an example if, you know, like the power goes out and, you know, you need to have a like high brightness flashlight on for an extended period of time. Well, these little LED flashlights and you know, ones like them do not pull 1 milliamp or 20 milliamps or, you know, 100 milliamps. You know, they pull a quite a bit of power. So can these batteries hold up to the demand of, you know, like higher drain devices like the name brand competitors do? And even saying that, some of the name brand competitor batteries don't do what they claim. I'm not going to get into that, but anyway, let's give an example right here. This is a Cree Q5 AA, or it'll take a 14500 lithium battery. But if you put a AA battery in here, this thing will pull, I've measured about 700 milliamps. So this thing will run for about an hour on a regular Duracell Optima battery, or Optima, or whatever it's called. So this is definitely considered a high drain device. These little family two-way radios are also high drain devices. This thing pulls 550 milliamps, but it uses 3 batteries to spread that out, but it's still considered a high drain device. So why not do high drain testing? And I haven't come across many videos that actually do like real world, you know, like high current draw testing, like 500 milliamps, 1 amp, stuff like that. Like even on Duracell's website, they claim that you can pull up to 1 amp from their AA batteries. Now the sales gimmick is they say you can pull 1 amp. It does not state for how long. So how long can you pull 1 amp? How long can you pull 500 milliamps? So I did 6 tests of just straight up abusing these batteries. So these are your everyday non-mainstream alkaline budget batteries. You have Bonico, I don't know, it had really good reviews and really good claims, and you can get this 36 pack here, and it's going to cost you 31 cents per battery. That's very good, versus like a regular Duracell is going to cost you somewhere around depending on how many you buy, anywhere from 70 cents plus. You got these Thunderbolt Edges, which claim last as long as the competition, prime power, and you know, these 18 pack are 39 cents a battery. These Amazon Basics, I know that there's a 4-pack here, but you know, just bear with me. So if you get the 48-pack, it's going to cost you 32 cents a battery. And again, long-lasting alkaline. We'll see. Allmax, never even heard of this brand. I know it says AAA. Let me explain for a minute, because this is AA testing. After I got done with all the testing, I was cleaning up and I threw away an entire box of AA batteries. So yeah, so just pretend these are AA's. They're just here for prop purposes. And finally, we got your dollar store batteries. So a pack's going to cost you $1. So you got your Panasonic Plus. There's 2 in a pack, so 50 cents each. There's 4 in a pack here, so 25 cents each. Compared to the rest of these, this is the most expensive battery on this, you know, in this group. So will it hold up? We'll see. Also, what I see is most people are doing current testing and discharge testing with this. I'm not knocking this OPUS, whatever, charger. This is a great charger for rechargeable batteries. It won't overcharge, it won't over discharge. It is a very smart charger. But for the testing that I'm doing, this was not working, because I wanted to pull a constant current. Like if I put a battery in here and I turned it on and I just left it, you know, to maybe illuminate a room or something. So this charger would not pull a constant current because it would think it was, you know, like actually damaging the battery, which I really don't care. I want to know if these batteries will hold up when I need the actual power. So the test was supposed to take 1 night, ended up taking 2 days. So I had to bump up to my actual hobby charger, which I could only do 1 battery, 1 test at a time, so it took a very long time. But it was constant current discharge. Anyway, enough of that. So test number 1, each of these was at a starting temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The current draw was 500 milliamps constant, and the starting voltage on each was 1.62, 1.62, 1.64, 1.64, 1.56, and 1.60. So out of all of these, probably should organize this a little bit better. The results are the Allmax lasted the longest at 3 hours and 43 minutes, consuming 1814 milliamps. That's really, really good for a 500 milliamp draw. Runner-up was the Amazon Basics battery, lasting 3 hours and 42 minutes, consuming 1811 milliamps. Next was the Dollar Tree Amazon Alkaline Plus Power at 50 cents a pop, and its runtime was 3 hours and 6 minutes, consuming 1529 milliamps. After that was the Harbor Freight Thunderbolt Edge batteries. They lasted 2 hours 48 minutes and consumed 1418 milliamps. Last was the ones I was hoping was going to do a little bit better, but they didn't, was the Bonico, which lasted 2 hours and 54 minutes and consumed 1398 milliamps. So a little bit disappointed at that, but was extremely impressed with the Allmax, and this surprised me a little bit. So test number 2 was the same current draw, but at extreme low temperatures. Now all of these, along with Duracell Energizer, claim that they will provide the manufacturer stated power down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So what happens if it's colder? I mean, are you still going to get the same power, or are they going to work at all? Well, I did that test. I stuck them in my deep freezer, which I had it negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit. And the results are the Panasonics, I'm just going to start off with, they died. Like, they lasted about 30 seconds and the charger was like, nope, battery's bad. So the Harbor Freight Thunderbolt Edge lasted, I still don't know how this is possible, but I actually ran this test twice. The Thunderbolt Edge at a starting temperature of negative 10 degrees lasted 4 hours and 1 minute and consumed 1937 milliamps. So from negative 10 to, you know, it was, you know, doing a constant discharge of 500 milliamps, you know, started to heat up and just lasted 4 hours. Really impressed with this. Next was the Allmax batteries, which lasted 3 hours and 38 minutes and consumed 801 milliamps. Number 3 was the Amazon Basics battery, which lasted 3 hours and 36 and consumed 1745. Next up was the Dollar Tree E-Circuit battery, which surprised me as well. Lasted 2 hours and 59 minutes and consumed 1450 milliamps. And last, again, kind of disappointed, was the Vonicos, which lasted 2 hours and 55 minutes and consumed 1407 milliamps. So for some reason, no chemist, freezing these batteries at negative 10 and then doing a constant high current discharge actually made these last longer. Don't know why, but those are the results. Test number 3 was done at a 1 amp current draw, which is the maximum manufacturer rated. Again, the manufacturer doesn't state how long they last at 1 amp, but that's what they're actually rated at. So in test number 3, the Thunderbolts came in first and lasted at 1 amp for 20 minutes, and you could pull 1 amp for 20 minutes, and you could pull 340 milliamp hours out of it at 1 amp before it just completely dropped off. Next up, surprised again, was the cheap Dollar Tree Panasonic batteries, which lasted again 20 minutes and pulled 344 milliamps. Third one on the list, Amazon Basics, lasted 20 minutes and pulled 340 milliamps. Next up, the Allmax batteries. They lasted 19 minutes and pulled 318 milliamps at a 1 amp discharge. Next up is the Vonico. I probably still am not pronouncing that right. They lasted 16 minutes and pulled 277 milliamps. Last on the list is the Dollar Tree E-Circuit batteries, which lasted 13 minutes and pulled 219 milliamps. Now, test number 4 is just like test number 3, where it's still a 1 amp draw, but like test number 2, it is done at negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, here's where the results get kind of interesting. So, test number 4, Allmax came out on top and lasted 22 minutes and pulled 268 milliamps. Next up, the Amazon Basics battery lasted 14 minutes and pulled 242 milliamps. Next up is the Harbor Freight Thunderbolt batteries, which lasted 11 minutes and pulled 196 milliamps. After that is the Vonico batteries, which lasted only 8 minutes and pulled 137 milliamps. Now, unfortunately, the E-circuit and the Panasonic Alkalines, they lasted about 20 to 30 seconds each, so I'm disqualifying those results. Alright, so test number 5 is an alkaline recharge test. Basically, can you recharge regular non-rechargeable alkalines and still have them relatively perform well? I've heard mixed results saying you can and you can't, but, well, the actual data doesn't lie. So the test was each of these batteries was taken from test number 1, which drained them down to 0.9 volts, and then they were charged back up using using this, and the charge current was 200 milliamps until the batteries reached 1.75 volts, and then the charger cut off, and then the voltage settled to, you know, until each battery settled down to the nominal voltage of, you know, whatever each battery was. So there's a good bit of data on this test. So I'm just going to go write down the list on this one. Starting from the top, the Panasonics had a starting voltage of 1.53, current draw 500 milliamps, temperature 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 500 milliamp draw on all of these at 70 degrees. So the total run time was 1 hour 44 minutes, and it pulled 840 milliamps. Now, there were no leaks. The gas seal is still intact, and they seemed like you could recharge them again. You would probably, you know, notice decreased performance, but it is actually possible. Next is the E-circuit batteries, starting voltage 1.49. They lasted 1 hour 34 minutes and pulled 738 milliamps. Next is the Amazon batteries. They lasted 1 hour and 59 minutes and pulled 943 milliamps. Next up is the Allmax alkalines, starting voltage of 1.53, total runtime of 1 hour 48 minutes, a total milliamp draw of 938. The Thunderbolt Edge from Harbor Freight. Now this is a pretty surprising result. Starting voltage 1.56, 500 milliamp draw at 70 degrees, recharged, lasted 2 hours and 3 minutes, no, 2 hours and 30 minutes, sorry, and pulled a total of 1193, which from the original, let me see, from the original test 1, it's only about it's not even a 300 milliamp shy of the, you know, like out of the box performance. So that was a very interesting result. And good old disappointment over here. Started at 1.57. Runtime was 2 hours and 3 minutes with a total of 963 milliamps discharged. Now, test number 6 is a short circuit test. You know, if it shorted out inside of a device, if it was in your pocket, if you used it as a hand warmer, which basically it's just a trick that if you take a AA battery and you wrap it up in aluminum foil, it'll heat up and keep your hands warm. I'm not telling you to do that. That is a bad idea, but it's possible. It will act as a hand warmer until the battery does bad things. And anyway, so the Panasonic Plus Alkalines with a starting voltage of 1.62 got to 115 degrees before the short circuit protection failed, ended up venting the seal, and so, you know, that was actually damaged. The seal was intact, but the short circuit protection failed. So that what do you call it? Particular battery was dead. Now the E-circuit alkaline started at 1.62 volts, got to a temperature of 124 degrees Fahrenheit before the short circuit protection kicked in, which is a little warmer than it actually should be before the short circuit protection should kick in. But it kicked in. It went down to something like 0.3 volts, would not put out anything else. But as soon as the short was let loose, it bumped back up to 1.42 volts, and there was no leaking, and the cell was still perfectly fine. So that worked out. Now the Amazon Basics battery started out at 1.64 volts. The short circuit protection kicked in at 117 degrees Fahrenheit before it went down to nothing, and then the cell came back up to 1.29. So I'd say it's a pass, but at 1.29 volts you're still not going to get much more out of it. Now the Allmax Alkaline, I think, did probably the best versus short circuit and everything. It started out at 1.64 volts. The short circuit kicked in at 115 degrees and cut out voltage, and then once the short was removed, it bumped back up to 1.42, and the cell was perfectly fine and performed almost just like these, but the short circuit kicked in at 115 degrees, not 124 like these. So next up, the Thunderbolt Edge Alkaline started out at 1.56. The short circuit protection kicked in at 116 degrees, but after the short was removed, it only came back up to 1.28. So after the short circuit, the cell was pretty much gone. And over here to the Vonico, started out at 1.6 volts. Short circuit protection didn't kick in until 134 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a little toasty if it were to get really warm in your pocket. And the battery was pretty much done because it only came back to 1.23. So the only cell that was actually damaged, like physically damaged, was these. So pretty good test. Now all of these test results are in the what do you call it, a description up below, so you know you can look it over. There's more info, you know, like testing up parameters, all that stuff that, you know, I didn't really go over. But so which one should you actually choose? Well, let's talk about warranty real quick. So warranty on batteries is a little sketch. You have to like go to the manufacturer website, you have to read. I mean, what happens if you buy 100 of these or 100 of these or 200 or something, and you store them for, you know, however long their shelf life is, and you take them out and they don't work. You know, let me give you an example. Vonico has a shelf life of 10 years. So say you have this battery, and 9.5 years down the road you take it out. Will the company still warranty this battery? Well, no, they actually won't. So let me explain the actual warranties. Now, warranties on the something like Duracell copper top, it has a 10-year shelf life. Will Duracell honor that 10-year shelf life? No, they won't. Actually, on their website, the limited warranty on their batteries is 5 years. They claim that the battery will last 10 years, but they will only replace the battery if it is defective for 5 years. So that's pretty interesting, and Energizer is the exact same way. Anyway, so let's start with Allmax. Allmax claims to have a 10-year shelf life. Now, what's good about this company is they will honor their 10-year shelf life and their 10-year warranty. So within 10 years, if this battery fails or fails to perform, they will free of charge replace this battery, at least according to their website claims. So 10-year shelf life, 10-year warranty. Not bad. And the cost per battery is only 29 cents, so comes up on the low end. So next up is the Amazon Basics battery. If you turn it over, wow, it doesn't even say on here, but on the actual Amazon thing, whatever, it claims that these will last 10 years. However, if you look a little further, these have a 1-year warranty. So why claim a 10-year shelf life if there's only a 1-year warranty? So not real happy about that warranty claim. Now, this right here says it will last up to 10 years, and in little bitty print at the bottom, it'll say stored under optimal conditions. I couldn't find what optimal conditions were, so it could be anything. But there is no warranty specified on the packaging, on their website, anything I could find. It just says 10-year shelf life under optimal conditions. So I'm guessing probably the same warranty as this. Same with this. No warranty specified, 7-year shelf life. Now, these only have a 5-year, Now these only have a 5-year shelf life, but Harbor Freight will warranty these batteries from the date of manufacture to the date of expiration, which is found on the bottom of each battery. So 5-year shelf life, 5-year expiration date. Not bad. This company warranties their batteries for 10 years and has a 10-year shelf life. So warranty thing is a little sketch. So out of all of these batteries, cost versus warranty versus shelf life versus performance, my personal choice is definitely Allmax. So I'm gonna use up what I have, and I'm gonna switch to this brand because out of all the testing, cost and everything, this seems to come out on top. Maybe not in every test, but overall, at least in my personal testing, Allmax seems to perform better. So, and I think that's it.